Hi there, my name is Matthew Carson with the Open Source Energy Network. We're very excited to be bringing these testimonies before you today, but first of all we'd like to thank the Disclosure Project. The Disclosure Project has spent a couple years and over $250,000 acquiring these exceptional energy testimonies from trailblazers in the clean, free, renewable energy field. These testimonies are testimonies. They aren't simply interviews. They have been documented with affidavits and documented credentials. These people have important things to say about the current state of energy as it is in the world today. Please listen carefully, watch carefully, share these videos, disperse them amongst your friends, email the links around, but make sure to donate directly to the Disclosure Project today, and keep in mind that these are not fictional interviews or showbiz articles. These are testimonies that we hope, and the Disclosure Project hopes, will eventually stand in a court of law. Thank you.
The anti-gravity, electrogravitics, and zero-point energy research that I'm aware of, I would feel that recently I just met Bob Lazar and had a very nice conversation with him in Las Vegas. So I feel even more confident of his sincerity and his experience at S4 in Groom Lake. Area 51, for those who are not aware of it. S4 is actually south of Area 51. But the important thing is that from his experience alone, the very convincing picture of very advanced circular aircraft or circular levitating craft becomes very apparent. And this advancement in propulsion and anti-gravity has not been really available to the civilian population virtually at all. We know of work done by Townsend Brown, for example, which actually I recently published in Atlantis Rising magazine. And Townsend Brown specifically proved through his demonstrations on Project Winter Haven that the possibility of providing a unidirectional force from charge separation on a craft, especially designed craft, is feasible, and importantly, it also cushions the supersonic braking effect. Well, electrogravitics by itself is specifically the propulsion effect that's gained by a separating charge on the edge or the surface of an aircraft. And I use aircraft in a very general way to mean spacecraft or any other type of craft. The interesting thing is, from my research, I also feel that there's a magnetogravitics available as well. In fact, Dr. Ning Li in the latest Popular Mechanics magazine has that term used in her research. So there's both options available for providing gravity anomalies, and this I feel is a very viable area of research. Interesting research that now is being suggested by Boyd Bushman from the Lockheed. He's retired from Lockheed, and he describes some of that research that he's willing to talk about, and of course an anti-gravity effect that he's also witnessed and measured. You're asking about the unacknowledged programs, and I first of all would like to describe the fact that many people feel, and including politicians and senators, have been quoted on TV. Recently, for example, The $1 Billion Secret that was aired on the Learning Channel for 2 hours. They interviewed, I believe it was Senator Murkowski from the Energy Committee, and he specifically said this was a waste of taxpayers' money to have covert operations that have developed advanced technologies in this energy or propulsion area, and then NASA is also getting tax dollars to do the same thing all over again. The parallel development, he felt, was a waste of taxpayers' money. I've seen other senators say the same thing. In fact, that particular senator requested information from the president about such covert operations. For example, UFO sightings for decades now have cited the fact that all these craft seem to move in very irregular, fast-changing patterns. And for any craft to do a fast-changing pattern means that they're experiencing perhaps tens of Gs inside the craft if it was a normal inertia-bearing type of material craft. But what's obvious is that they do it so effortlessly and can change direction so quickly that very likely they're not being thrown against the wall of the craft as it's changing. More likely, in fact, from the book that I just read recently, Dr. Paul Hill, who was a NASA scientist, Unconventional Flying Objects, he describes the fact that as you're producing a small anti-gravity force downward, approximately 1 g worth, that the inhabitants, the occupants of the craft, all they're experiencing is a force downward. They can be sitting there very comfortably eating their lunch or whatever, and meanwhile the craft is going through all kinds of gyrations.